She can go ahead.
Okay. But there was some Orwell boys here. Of course, son was in service, and so I don't know why they wanted to come to see us, but anyhow, they did. We had a date with them, and Jewel thought it was so fun. Oh, I know, we went to the movie, and Jewel thought it was so funny that they had on these big cowboy boots. One of them did, and she laughed about the boots that we had. And we used to go to the movie up at Bollinger. That's about 12 miles from here. We had a movie theater down at Yarborough, which is about 6 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the places we went to the movies. But they had some good movies because we even saw Gone with the Wind, there. But at this movie, I don't know why she was with Bobby Ware. You have to know Bobby Ware to understand why. But anyhow, he wanted to put his arms around Jewel, and every time he'd put his arm around Jewel, Jewel would take it and throw it back across. And he says, if you don't let me hug you, I'm going to run into this theater. Well, he did. He run into the theater. Did y'all ever hear me say that?
I heard you talk
Some
about
of the
it.
things that he would do.
She might have been winning because he was the only one around. The rest of them were in
Probably.
I don't blame her. I would have thrown his
service,
arm off too. Me too.
The others, had health problems.
Right.
And they were all in service. So we were glad, I guess, to go with them to
Any
get to go somewhere. And of course, we worked in the store at the same time. Joel and I did, in Uncle Johnny's store. And
Is that where she met Dad? Or where did she meet him?
I don't. Now he was at Chatham. He was in the the guards. We had the guards down at Chatham, and that's where she met him, and also Sethery. You remember Sethery?
I remember the name.
Okay. So that's where she met Big Mitchell. And strange thing, Big Mitchell's son was here about, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I thought it was going to be Sethery with them when they called and said they were coming. But it was just Sethery and Mitchell's son and his wife. And I was so disappointed. I thought, well, I haven't seen Sethery in so long, and I thought she was going to be out there so we could see her. But it was his son, and they had come down to see the memorial up here. Have y'all been to that?
We went. We took pictures.
That's
we
a
did.
real credit to our town, is that memorial. But,
What else did she do funny?
oh, I don't know. That Jewel, she's something else. I tell you one thing, Brenda, if she was your friend, you could depend on her.
Exactly.
And she'd take up for me a lot of time about things, and she wasn't happy if somebody said something about.
Did she fight any?
Not that I know of. I don't think. Do you?
Well, because she talked about it before, didn't she, Abby?
Got mad at somebody over something.
Well, yeah, she might have.
I think it was something that they did to you or Tootie, one of the two, and she was not happy about it.
Oh, well, it wasn't me, because I always said, well, if I got one of the best friends I'll ever have was Jewel.
That's how Mom was with everybody.
And on Sundays, most every Sunday, she'd come up to the house, and we'd go to Sunday school, but SB would bring her up to the house, and she'd spend the afternoon. We would get with son, and we'd, as we said, we'd ride around. We didn't have much to do. We used to take a lot of pictures because we didn't have anything else to do. And Jewel might have been with us that night. We got in the the cane patch too, and I don't know, they all teased me about that, but we were over at Healing Spring, and I don't know who suggested we go in the the cane patch, and they were over there. I don't know how many was with us, and we were cutting the cane, and the moon was coming up, and I thought it was a car coming, and I yelled to all of them. I said, there comes a car, we got to get out of this cane patch.
I thought it was a watermelon patch. When you said the watermelon, there was some story you told us about the watermelon too.
Was Son with you?
Yeah, Son was with us. But then we went, we shouldn't have gone in Miss Etter's her pecan tree, because we all like to got in trouble about that. She had these nice pecan trees, so Buford was with us when we were, and
Miss Etta Anderson.
we gathered up pecans. You know,
Did she catch y'all?
We didn't mean to be mean. We just was trying to find something to do. And one of the Mitchells had some nice watermelons on his porch. And I don't know why we decided to go by and roll some of his
I
watermelons
knew there was
off
something about the watermelons. That
and
y'all
take.
did.
Oh, how funny.
But we did. We just had lots of fun. A lot of good times together.
Well, is it Tootie?
Yeah, Tootie, we were all together most of the time, but in growing up, Jewel and Tootie were the ones I was the closest to.
That's who she was.
Yeah.
What happened to Tootie?
But yeah, they called her in
She passed
Thomasville.
away.
They
Did she
called
have
her
kids?
Louise, but I never called her.
To you.
The
We
only
never
time
knew
I
her
would-
kids or
when I
anything.
would
We only
write
knew
to her or
y'all.
send her a card or
I don't
something,
know.
instead of putting
Her
Tootie
son
on it, I
is
put
an architect.
Louise. But I was so used to it.
He's a really
Well,
famous.
I don't know. Really, I'll think about it a lot of times.
Oh, that's
Bob,
neat.
after you all leave,
Bobby
I'll think about a
McAlpin?
lot of things
Okay.
I would
I
have told
know.
you that was
See,
You
we
can
were
look him
so
up and
much
probably
fun.
find all kind of stuff on.
Bobby
You can Google
McAlpin,
him.
Good friend.
Yeah.
Good friend.
They told me that Tootie's son's a famous architect now.
Yeah.
How many kids did Tootie have? Because we never kept up with Tootie. We always would come visit
She
you.
has 2 children.
Uh-huh.
And Bobby McAlpin has turned out to be a well-known, outstanding architect.
Wow.
In fact, I've got a book in there that Ann had brought up that he had signed, and he's
Wow.
Do you have the magazine? That last magazine he had that featured in?
You know, I did not get that. Ann was telling
She
me
was going to
about
bring it. I
that.
thought she was going to bring it to you. I guess she
The
forgot.
veranda. She was going to bring it to me, and it said something in it about Tootie.
He looks just like Mr. Andy. You know?
Yeah,
Wow.
but he's an expensive architect now. I think that he won't consider a home unless it's in the millions.
My.
Well,
So did Mom get in trouble with Grandma very often? With Ruby?
I don't think so. I don't know. You know, now I like Miss Ruby. Miss Ruby was.
Oh, we loved her too.
We loved
did.
her.
We loved her.
And
she would tell us that Leona,
But
she would
Mom
get in
tell us
trouble,
that she would get in trouble.
and Leona would cover for her.
Yeah.
I think it was Leona would
Just
cover
funny
for her.
things, not mean things.
yeah.
She's
So
supposed
where's Leona's family?
Did you ever say anything about Beulah?
Yes, yes.
We loved her.
You know Beulah then.
Beulah and Leona was there when we were little, and
Yeah.
Debbie and I were wondering where their family is.
Would they be up here in what we call across the railroad up there where Tom Williamson used to
Now,
Leona-
Leona was married to which one?
Leona Napier? Now, if
Oh,
that's
she was
the
a
one,
Napier, not a Mitchell. She was Napier.
Leona was the one that was the first one that helped me when we lived upstairs. Paid her $1 a day. Can
Oh
you
my.
imagine hiring anybody now for $1 a
$1.
day? And
What all did she do for $1?
well, she cooked mainly, and her food was really good. And I don't know where I got the coon, but anyhow, she told me she'd cooked the coon. And she, when it started cooking, it started getting bigger. And Leona put an iron on the top to keep it from boiling over. And so I was working in the store at that time, going back and forth up and down the stairs. And some of the customers come in. We always talked about cooking and different things. And I tell them that I've got some barbecued coon upstairs. Oh, I've always wanted to taste something. And do you know there was none of that coon left that night? The different ones had gone up there and eaten that coon.
Oh, how funny.
But she was a good cook.
Is her family here?
I don't know.
I don't know who Leona's.
I'm not sure either.
What about Beulah? Was she older than Leona?
I would think Leona was, but I don't know where any of Beulah's family was up there. Do you all know where you could maybe talk to some of her family? Who
What
it
was
would
her
be?
last name?
Beulah was Bradley.
Yeah, I remember Beulah
I
Bradley.
bet Hootie Pool if you knew. I don't know. could tell you something about Beulah and Leona, Hootie Poo.
The house right there by the mill.
Yeah,
House by the mill.
that may be the quarters that
Yeah.
you know they got some they call the dirty quarters, and then they've got some that they call the clean quarters.
Now they do.
I think they still call
They
it
still call it that.
the dirty.
I didn't think they referred to the housing here as quarters.
Well,
anymore.
I don't know how much they do.
But are they dirty and clean, or
I don't
they
think
just
they
call
had-
them that?
They didn't have. Well, their homes were not as well as some of the others, but there's some nice homes up there.
Well, did
in
they
Dothan.
live in the dirty or the clean quarters?
I would think they were living over there in the nicer one. I wouldn't think they would live in this one. You know the one I'm talking about, where we cross the railroad going to the mill.
But
You know
now-
all those little.
but now you don't have a railroad.
Oh yeah, that's right. We don't. Now that was one thing I really missed was the railroad, and we used to go down to the. Have somewhere to go down and meet the train and see who was leaving and who was getting off of the train. Oh.
But y'all might could stop over there and ask over at Hootie's house.
Yeah, some of
Where
them
did,
probably-
can you tell us where Hootie lives?
Oh,
How do we get here from here?
Let me see which way would be best to go. Probably
I may have to go get my charger.
that first road by Miss Marion's. Maybe go around there because Hootie's would be the first house past the mill, right on the right. If you went that cut off,
oh, it'd be right across from where we
right
used to live
across
over
from
there at the mill.
Mitchells. But it'd be the first house on the right
Yeah.
past the mill.
Son, do you still have the sawmill? Is it still running, or?
She wanted to know if you still had the mill. Now he sold it to this man that couple that lives across from us up there,
Mhm.
and
We had a bad fire in '85. The burning sawmill tore it down. And we decided not to rebuild it, to sell it to the company,
Mhm.
and we reserved the land. That's what we out of it, well, out of the lumber business, but we're in the timber business.
That's good.
And it's been good to us. We
Good.
kept our old family together.
That's good.
So how
He's
did
fixing to sell it, right? He's got it up for sale now. The man that bought it, he's gonna, and
What'd you say?
and Mr. Forbes gonna sell it
Debbie's
now?
just asking, had he got the mill up for sale now? James Farms?
Do you guys know McElwain's that live here?
Some of them, which
There's a doctor in Bristol. His brother's name is Robert, and Robert has kids here. And his ex-wife lives here too. I think her name's Eva or something like that.
they're McElwain.
Uh-huh. But there's a doctor in Bristol. He's from here, and Robert is his brother. And his brother owns, like he sells hospitals of beds and things like that, and lives. And but Robert and I talked about Millry right before we came down
So it
here.
is from Millry. It's not Washington County. It is from Millry.
Millry,
is it?
uh-huh.
Oh,
And his kids
neat.
graduated from Millry.
Donna, would that be Willard? Some of his people?
I don't know. My
A
son
brother?
married a McElwain.
Oh my.
Erica. Her dad is Willard, and I'm not sure if it's that. And With there's you the name also of the children, we might could
What
place
is
who it
what
is.
is one of her dad's name is Willard. Does he have brothers?